By doing so, you announce in advance that your goal is not winning.
But that's not.
And I think the last 50 years of secretaries of defense would say,
Senator,
if your goal is not to win, you shouldn't be
do
involved.
you want to go to war in Syria? Of course not. Everybody, 100% of Americans will say no. We say no. We don't want to go to war in Syria either. That's not what the president is asking for here. General, do you want to speak of that, all to that?
No, not really, Secretary. Thank you for offering.
I'd pull the rug out from under bit. In the event there was a threat of a chemical weapons cache falling into the hands of al-Nusra or someone else, and it was clearly in the interests of our allies and all of us, the British, the French, and others, to prevent those weapons of mass destruction falling into the hands of the worst elements. I don't want to take off the table an option that might or might not be available to a President of the United States to secure our country.
Charles, I guess that's the biggest question is people wonder if you go in with some limited strike, all of the uncertainty that surrounds that of other things that can happen.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons to the resistance to the plan, because as outlined by the president, it has really no objective of any importance. They say this is a demonstration strike, a shot across the bow. A shot across the bow is a warning that if you don't stop, we're going to do something real. Obama is saying openly, this is going to be one shot and then we go home. So I think you've got to ask yourself, yes, but the other guys have a vote on when the war, the opposition between us stops. And what happens if Hezbollah responds by raining rockets on Israel or attacks a U.S. ship? What happens if Syria does, if Iran attacks American assets or attacks Israel? And the worry that a lot of people have is, given the bumbling, the hesitation, the zigzags of Obama's policy up until now, which is entirely incoherent, do you trust him to be the one who will respond adequately, wisely, if and when the response happens? Because once you sign on to this, no matter what's in the resolution, you've signed on to Obama conducting the operation and the follow-on, which could happen. The assumption is we do it, we go home, nothing happens. Could be true, but is unlikely to be true.
I am very aware of all those things. What I'm unaware of is why it is so slow in actually helping them with lethal support. Why has that been so slow?
I think, Senator, we need to have that discussion tomorrow in classified session. We can talk about some components of that. Suffice it to say, I want General Dempsey to speak to this, maybe Secretary Hagel. That is increasing significantly. It has increased in its competency. I think it's made leaps and bounds over the course of the last few months.
Here was the first time that Syria crossed the red line, and the backup never went.
And remember how unserious was the presidential announcement. He didn't come out and announce it himself. He had a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State announce that we'd be shipping arms, and that would be the game-changing event. Of course, the game isn't changed, and the weapons haven't arrived. Not a rifle has arrived, which puts in question the promises that Obama has made to the hawks of McCain and Graham. He's saying to the hawks, look, I know that you're saying, and McCain and Graham are right in saying this, that a demonstration shot will do nothing. It's worse than nothing. So McCain is saying, he's trying to appease them. He says, okay, I'm going to upgrade the opposition, meaning I'll really send weapons. This time, I promise, with a cherry on top. And I'm going to degrade. I'm going to have a strike that's not going to be only a demonstration. I will degrade. And to the doves, the Democrats, he says, no, it's a limited strike. That's all we're going to do, and we're going to hit and go home. So he's trying to sell this contradiction to each side. On the Democratic side, he succeeds because Democrats will not allow the president to be humiliated.
This has been a Sunfish production.